Welcome back into the channel, guys. Of course, it is I, Paladevin, and my goodness, guys, has it been a week? It's been a really rough week. Let's be real quick before we dive into the conversation. I sadly lost my pupper. I will miss him greatly. We also, as a world, lost Ace Frehley, one of the absolute best guitarists to ever do it. I might be a little biased, might be a little bit, but I don't think that I am. But also in the gaming side of things, more Xbox news. The XBOX ROG Ally released, and it of course released to the usual conversations, the performance specs and channels, some of the offerings that were discussed with it, and also if I'm gonna weigh in on this conversation, I'm actually gonna talk about potential alternatives to it. Now, the console itself, the heavy duty one anyway, comes in at $999.99, so it's $1,000. And from what I saw from Linus's teardown, it's pretty beefy. Of course, I don't have my hands on one. I have, of course, the deck, a PS Portal. I have all kinds of other stuff. I do have a ROG of my own, just not the Xbox ROG. And it brought to my attention, especially with that ROG device in question, that if you already have these things, or even more so, have no need to shell out that kind of fee to make this change, then you should be able to stick to what you have. Or if you're buying in for the first time, buy in pretty low and still get a performative experience. Now, what I do want to say is, from a performance standpoint, it seems like the $1,000 ROG of these two for the Xbox, it's going to outclass performance-wise the majority of the handhelds. I think it's going to easily lap, just based off of what I've seen in performance specs, everything up and including the Steam Deck OLED. However, the headroom surrounding this usually sees on average at 1080p about a 9 to 11, now it's dependent on game, performance bump over the Steam Deck OLED. And at $350 more in headroom, you have to ask yourself, damn, that's min-maxing for 9 to 11 frames. Again, every game is a little bit different. I'm kind of going off of numbers that I saw from Cyberpunk in averages, because that is a heavy-duty game when really played on everything. Now, I did mention before as well, there's a little bit of questionable marketing surrounding this thing. I've already seen a lot of, it can natively play Xbox games floating around out there, or in situations where that gets brought up, Microsoft or Xbox, whatever the hell you want to call them, aren't really correcting people. They're letting consumers kind of fall on this sword, which I do think is a little bit shady, if I'm being completely honest. Now, what the system does do is that of any of these handhelds that's not named a Switch, you are able to access Xbox applications up to and including Game Pass, and the one instance where you are actually able to play your games, your Xbox console games, that library is through remote play. So this is a feature on this new ROG, but I do want to point out this is also a feature on current ROG devices. So if you have a ROG Ally, or you were thinking about getting in on the cutting floor with a lower end one that's not going to just destroy your wallet, it's there. All you would do is open the Xbox app. There is a prompt labeled console. You press on that prompt, select the console of choice you want to remote play from, and then, well, after a little airplane loading sequence, voila, there it is. Okay, and it does work really well. We've tested it with Tales of the Shire. I've tested it with Resident Evil 2. So remote play is going to be right in spec with current ROGs. If you have one, you can start doing it now. Again, just take a look if you have an Xbox. Now, say you traded in your Xbox though to get this Xbox ROG. That really sucks because you cannot natively play your Xbox, at least not your entire Xbox library. It is strictly Play Anywhere titles, which is sadly a fraction of the library being offered. Hopefully this does get corrected. I know Sarah Bond, Phil Spencer, they have spearheaded pretty heavily the back compat thing, you know, with even being able to play like up-resed 360 games and things like that. So hopefully this is something they're working on. The sad fact and the sad reality is that we all know who Microsoft is, and they will likely just be content with people running into a grenade and them just sitting there going like, oh, okay. And that is really sad, because if you do look at pricing in general on these devices, again, the base level one coming in at around $6, if memory serves me right, and the big one at $1,000, and you are looking forward with playing your Xbox games natively in mind, that is a giant swing on a misinformed bit of information. And I hope my video can be a little cautionary. There are other devices that do this as well, at a fraction of the cost. Now, if you happen to say you're not in the Xbox ecosystem, but you want that kind of experience, say you're over on PlayStation, the PlayStation Portal clocks in at around $200 brand new, or if you happen to be lurking around pawn shops or anything like that, you can get it significantly cheaper. And it does exactly what this Xbox ROG does, at least as far as the remote play function. Now, native game playing and stuff like that from services like Steam and such, no, it will not do that. It is strictly a remote play device, and it is marketed as such. So that's another alternative you have. And now we kind of come to my favorite alternative. As you guys know, the Steam Deck is my baby. It's the one. And honestly, yeah, you could front load, you know, Windows on it instead of Linux if you want to, so that you can get this Xbox app, play Game Pass, play, you know, remote play your games and stuff like that. But I prefer the simple approach of, I'm using my Steam library. I have full emulation. I'm enjoying the Linux interface and learning that, but also I have services like XB Play that allow me to connect to my Xbox and still do the remote play function. Now, keep in mind, the main reason I bring a lot of these up is because the price point for what is being offered on every single device that I've been talking about comes in significantly lower. I have a lot of friends, I have a lot of family who play Xbox. That's kind of their platform of choice. My best friend in the world, she has a PS5, it collects dust. She loves Xbox. She's an achievement hunter. She doesn't want to start over with trophies. There's a million and one reasons why a lot of people still want to play Xbox, and I really think they did drop the ball as far as functionality. I heard a rumor about like, oh, a native handheld and stuff like that. Well, why wouldn't you just utilize that within your current partnership to get as many games natively running and call this your handheld? Call it established, because you know what, it is an Xbox if it can natively run Xbox games. And yes, it can do that, but not many of them. I'll be 100% honest. One more piece as far as handheld gaming goes in general in this discussion. It really doesn't matter what you choose. There are tons of great options out there. Yes, while I prefer the deck, I also have a Portal. We have a ROG. I have a 3DS even. And yes, I've even got an Ambernick SP just to have that awesome experience of that traditional Game Boy SP kind of feel. So there's not really a wrong answer when it comes to handheld gaming in general. As I mentioned before, alongside those, you have your Switch. You have your Switch 2. And I will say this, a lot of people bringing up the Cyberpunk comparisons. Cyberpunk is looking pretty damn good on Switch 2, and on Switch 1, as you're seeing, well, Mario Kart still runs real nice, as do a lot of games. So if you are trying to get in the door and get in at an affordable cost, there are experiences that'll get you right there that are going to allow for the same level of performance, which on average is 720, 1080, and 30 frames per second, that you could be spending your money on instead. Those are just my 2 cents though. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and found it a little bit informative, because there's some speak that ain't freaking going on that really needs to be going on. It's just the way that Xbox has come up to this point. Technology wise, the device is very cool. And again, please, the biggest point of emphasis is please do your research, because nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to get their asses bit with an $1,000 price tag on a device that ends up not doing what they want it to do. Until next time, guys, I will see you later.